Assalamualaikum and good evening. Viewers, in a terrorist attack carried out with military precision, militants wearing Pakistani uniforms burst into the country's busiest Karachi airport under cover of darkness in one of the most audacious attacks in Pakistan in years. Uzbek fighters were involved in the attack that killed 37. Insurgent sources said how the Pakistani Taliban can draw on international militant networks to carry out these major attacks. The militants failed in its main objective to hijack an aircraft and hold its passengers hostage, but the attack extinguished a peace process and raised several questions about how the Taliban were able to penetrate the airport serving Pakistan's economic hub. TTP struck the ASF Academy on Tuesday evening again. Gunmen on motorbikes opened fire on an ASF Academy. TTP spokesman Shahidullah Shahid warns that there would be many more such attacks in future. On the other hand, government decided to do army operation. Today, we will discuss all the aspects of Karachi attack and irresponsible role of media during the coverage as well. We will also discuss the attacks on Shia pilgrims in Balochistan, Taftan, and PM Nawaz Sharif's letter to Modi. And as you know, that Mr. Zaid Hamid joins me in my show. Assalamualaikum, Mr. Zaid Hamid. Mr. Zaid Hamid, as you saw this week, the attacks on Karachi, not once, but twice, and then the terrorists, they were Uzbeks. How do you see this tragedy happening in our country? But before I get your answer, let's have a look at the report on these attacks, and then we will start our discussion.
On 8 June 2014, turned heavily on militant attacked Jinnah International Airport in Karachi. 36 people were killed, including 10 attackers, and at least 18 persons were wounded. Pakistan's military fought an all-night battle with Taliban gunmen who beside Karachi airport armed attack with rocket launchers and suicide waste and grenades. Several made in India injections factories have also been recovered from the militants during a search operation at Karachi airport. On 10 June, just 2 days after the airport attack, 2 to 4 unidentified militants opened fire near ASF Academy in Pahalwan. Karachi airport attack was the first large-scale incident in the airport in recent years. Earlier in 2011, Taliban gunmen attacked the Mehran naval base, destroying 2 aircraft and killing 10 personnel. In 2012, the Bacha Khan International Airport in Peshawar was also being attacked by the militants. The TTP carried out a raid on Pakistan military headquarters Rawalpindi in 2009, leaving 23 dead, including 11 troops and 3 hostages.
Yes, Zaid Hamid, as you saw the report. Now, before we get started, last week I would like to show a statement that you said in your last week's show that Karachi will explode. Let's have a look at that, and then I would like to know that what made you say that.
We need to handle Karachi. This is getting out of control. Karachi is going to explode. Our message to the government, and the government has been routinely ignorant, insensitive, trying to delay. Now they can't delay. Karachi has exploded.
और आने वाले वक्तों में हालात अब बहुत ज्यादा खराब होंगे कराची में for a short period of time, जब तक कि आपको एक्चुअली कराची में मार्शल लॉ लगाना पड़ेगा, कर्फ्यू लगाने पड़ेंगे, पूरा रिस्ट्रिक्ट करना पड़ेगा, चोक करना पड़ेगा.
Yes, Mr. Zaid Hamid, as you broadcasted the conditions of Karachi, what made you say that Karachi will explode? And unfortunately, it did happen within a week.
You see, whatever we said was not magic. It was hardcore threat analysis. We were monitoring the war that has been imposed against Pakistan. You used the word it was a terrorist attack. We would like to clarify that. It was not a law and order problem. It was not a terrorist attack. It was an act of war. And Pakistan is facing an asymmetric, decentralized urban war, which is now entering its last stages of demolition. These are the wars that will be fought in the 21st century. This is the war that you see reshaping the Middle East. This is the war that is being fought in Iraq right now, when Iraq is crumbling under violent non-state actors. This is the war which is being fought in Syria right now. This is the war which has created Boko Haram in Nigeria, and Nigeria is imploding under its weight. And this is the war that is being fought in Somalia. And this is the war that is patronizing TTP and the militant group, so-called Islamic movement of Uzbekistan. So whatever is happening now in Pakistan is not an event in isolation. It's the 4th and the 5th generation wars where reshaping of the Muslim world is taking place. Pakistan is one of the last frontiers where they have been trying for the last 13 years to dismantle, implode, create a failed state, but they are not successful. They have been able to hurt Pakistan. They've been able to damage us indeed, but they have not been able to destroy Pakistan.
If we analyze the terrorists that attacked the Karachi airport, and then the responsibility claimed by TTP and Islamic Movement of Uzbekistan. What is the Islamic Movement of Uzbekistan, and who is behind this? Who are these people, Uzbeks?
You see, let me make it very clear to you that I do not accept that this attack has been done by Islamic Movement of Uzbekistan. And who are they, by the way? See, in the modern time, there are three major powers which are actually involved heavily into this region. One of them are the Americans and the NATO, that power bloc. Other is Mossad, the Israelis, and third is the Indian RAW. And all three have a common objective of attacking Pakistan. And for that purpose, they have created various proxy groups. The Black Operation. They have created the Joint Special Operations Command, JSOC, the American Army, US Army, which is responsible for dismantling country, which is responsible for taking away the nuclear weapons, and doing the Black Ops, particularly in Pakistan and Iran. And Indians are heavily involved as well, and they have also created various proxy groups, and the objective is to wage war on ethnic, religious, linguistic, various lines. The TTP is a terrorist outfit which is based in Afghanistan now. It was initially based in Pakistan, it's been pushed back, now it's in Afghanistan, it is being patronized by the CIA, Mossad and RAW. Similarly, the Balochistan Liberation Army, which is a Marxist, secular, liberal, militant group, which is again doing the same objective of dismantling Pakistan. Similarly,
Mr. Zaid Hamid, these terrorists are Uzbeks. So what are Uzbeks doing here?
You see, the point is, how do you know they were Uzbeks? Just because a fake website has claimed that they were Uzbeks? To me, they appeared Gurkhas, the Indian military special forces. How do you know the faces of Uzbek, Gurkhas, Baltis, Gilgatis and Chitralis, and Chinese, and Tibetis? They're all the same. The point is, they were dead men. The dead men don't speak. Definitely they were foreigners. They were not Pakistanis. And the point is that there is no doubt about this fact, that Indian weapons were on board, on their bodies. They were using medicines which were made in India or imported from India. And these men were highly trained in using rocket launchers, grenade launchers, and sophisticated weapon system, having night vision devices, night vision goggles, which even the Pakistan Army and Airport Security Force do not use.
The way they conducted the attack, they seemed very well trained.
They were very well trained, but they were not mentally strong. They panicked. You see, this is the whole thing. They were very well trained in weaponry and weapon systems and all, but they panicked once they entered. They were confronted by the security forces, Airport Security Force, Rangers, and they panicked. Despite the fact that the aircraft were right in front of them, they had rocket launchers which could damage the aircraft from 400 yards. Still, they could not damage the aircraft. They were confined to hangars. They were confined to cargo areas where they were surrounded, isolated, and killed.
But were they panic, or were the ASF workers and the Rangers and the Army, they were able to demolish them and not let them have a successful attack?
The end result is the same. You see, the response by Pakistani security forces was ruthless and brilliant. They coordinated well, they fought well, they defended Pakistan well. And that created a panic response in the militants. They were not prepared for this kind of response. They actually surrounded,
according to
eliminated.
Chaudhry Nisar, 7 minutes took Rangers to be there. And then for those 7 minutes, ASF workers were there, and then Army was there in the next 20 minutes.
You see, the point is, Pakistan Army and Armed Forces intelligence agencies knew that Karachi is going to explode. And again, the analysis that we had done also was being listened to by Pakistani armed forces. And people knew that something big is going to happen in Karachi. In fact, it has begun now. You will see more attacks like this in Karachi. Because
Mr. Zaid Hamid, you just mentioned that the information was provided earlier. And we did see Chaudhry Nisar saying that on March 23rd, Interior Ministry did inform the Sindh government. Let's have a look at that clip. What does he have to say about the earlier information? And I would like to get your comment on that.
एक चैनल ने कहा कि 10 नहीं 30 लोग अंदर दाखिल हुए हैं, मगर जो एक खसूसी रिपोर्ट मार्च में मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ इंटीरियर ने सिंध को भेजी, उसमें वाज़िया तौर पर वो भी रिकॉर्ड पे है, निशानदेही की गई कि ये जो गेट है जिससे मेजर हमला हुआ, ये सिक्योरिटी रिस्क है और इस पे फौरी तौर पर ये मार्च में भेजी गई। अब ये तो बात रिकॉर्ड पे हो गई। अब हर एक को अपनी उन जिम्मेवारियों से औहदा बरा होना चाहिए। किसकी क्या जिम्मेवारी है, बजाय इसके कि उसको बताया जाए, उसको खुद एहसास होना चाहिए और अपनी जिम्मेवारी एक तरफ और दूसरों पर उंगली उठाना, खुदा के लिए इन आदतों से बाज आए।
Yes, Mr. Zaid Hamid, as you heard Chaudhry Nisar saying that this poker gate from where the terrorists entered, that was a security risk, and this was being informed to Sindh government back in March. So what else could be done then?
You see, let me make it very clear. Coming back to the Uzbeks first. The point is, the Uzbeks have released a press release saying that they have claimed that they have attacked this particular hangar.
And they've shown the pictures of those 10 militants.
And the 10 militants, their pictures have also been shown. But the fact is that if you see the dead terrorists on ground, they don't match with the pictures of the press release. They're two different groups altogether. And also the Uzbeks, the so-called press release has claimed that they have destroyed the fighter aircraft on the airport, which is rubbish, nonsense, completely farcical. We know no fighter aircraft were destroyed on ground. In fact, there were no fighter aircraft there at all.
They're all passenger.
They're all passenger aircraft, and even they were not destroyed. Just few bullet holes in a couple of aircraft. That's all. So we know that press release is primarily a deception. It was made so the investigation can go in a different direction. The actual perpetrators are Indians. I'm saying it openly and clearly. Pakistan Rangers have also said, Pakistan's Foreign Office has also said that now a full inquiry is being done to identify how come these terrorists were carrying Indian weapons. And now Pakistan's Foreign Office is going to officially lodge a complaint with Indians on this.
So the thing is that TTP has teamed up with India to attack us.
You see, it's not just TTP. There are multiple terrorist groups in Karachi who have teamed up with Indians. There are lots of Indian assets in Karachi as well. I'm not putting any allegation on any political party here. But I'm going to quote a news item, and that political party is responsible for responding. Last year, in October in 2013, Pakistan Rangers conducted a raid on the office of MQM. And they found Indian weapons there. And this was published in Tribune, Pakistan's one of the premier English newspapers. MQM did not respond to that. Pakistan Army, Pakistan Rangers did not retract their statement. The fact exists. I'm not putting allegation. I'm only asking, what does it mean when Pakistan Rangers attack search the office of a political party and find Indian weapons there? That political party needs to come out and explain their position.
But then to be recovering Indian weapons from the custody of certain political party, how do you connect that as a connection between that party and India?
You see, the point is, in Pakistan, you cannot buy Indian weapons. You cannot get them on license. They're not available in the tribal areas as well. So this is where the whole argument is. The party has to explain themselves. From where did they get them? And the same Indian weapons were used in the airport attack as well.
But then why are you talking about Indian weapons being found with MQM in their office, and then now Indian weapons being used by these militants in these attacks?
The point is, the point is, this is where the investigation has to be done. Dots have to be connected. Relationship and links have to be found. Because there is also another evidence which has been acknowledged by the British government that after 9/11, MQM wrote a letter to the British government saying that we will do the spying and espionage job for them in Pakistan and Karachi. In return, MQM demanded that ISI must be dismantled. And this is an authentic letter. It's a letter which the British government has said they have received it. It's authentic. The news was published in the news, Pakistan's largest English newspaper. So again, I'm not putting the allegations. I'm only asking MQM to respond because they have not sued the British government.
But we did see MQM asking for the military operation in Karachi. It was the biggest party who stand for this claim to have a military operation in Karachi. We will talk more on this. I have to take a short break here. We will stay with us. We'll be right back after a short break. Well, we're talking about the Karachi airport attacks. Now that brings up a lot of questions. Who is the Islamic movement of Uzbekistan? Who is behind this movement? And then how come the non-state are getting very active within the Pakistan scenarios? Mr. Zaid Hamid, before going on a break, we were saying different aspects of this attack. The weaponry that's been found in this attack that was used by those was the Indian weaponry. Now, how can we connect India with just the weapons being found?
You see, the point is that Pakistan knows this for sure, that all militant organizations in Pakistan are being funded by the Indians from Afghanistan. It is not just insurgents, urban insurgents in Karachi, it's the TTP. And otherwise, how do you explain these militant organizations getting massive amount of weaponry? Which country is supporting? There is some kind who's supporting and giving weapons to these militant organizations. Let me ask you a question. Then let's open the. Who are the countries who could be funding? In Afghanistan, how many countries are there? Either US, either it's NATO, either it's the Afghan army or the Indians. Afghan army are dependent on food supply, on the food support and weapon support from the US and the NATO. So they're not the main culprit. But definitely the heavy presence of Indians in Afghanistan, support to the militant groups. We know that they are supporting the Balochistan Liberation Army and the TTP and the strong assets in Karachi
but
as well.
Mr. Zaid Hamid, we would like to show you a clip of Joe Biden's speech 2009 on which he's discussing on the war strategies, and then I would like to get your comment on that.
Security Advisor to the President of the United States. There was a particularly difficult mission playing out that had to be accomplished, and it was a Black Ops operation, and one of the other guy's uniform said, "I don't know that's possible." Literally, "I don't know that's possible," he said. And Mullen, who is an even-handed guy about all the services, even though he's Navy, he looked at, "Hell, these are SEALs. They can do anything." And so you guys who are starting, I guess you're starting as of Monday they started, don't quit. Don't quit. Need you. We need you. Because the wars we're going to be fighting, your fathers and grandfathers' wars, this idea of being able to wage two major wars on either side of the world, we still got to be prepared. The matter is, the wars of the 21st century are going to be wars based on wars based on failed states, wars based on the consequence of terrorism.